Hey guys, it's Jalapeno here with another episode of What Are We Caulking Next? On today's project, we're going to be addressing that little gap that's between the crown molding and the ceiling. FYI, I did not install the crown molding, but the guys who did install it could only do so much with the ceiling not being level. On some areas, the crown molding did bump up against the ceiling. Like on this little corner here, there's barely any gap, but as soon as you go out, there's that big gap right there. And like I said, the installers could only do so much. But anyways, first thing you're going to want to do is put some blue tape. That way you don't get all the caulk on the crown. And I just went ahead and put blue tape on all the crown molding in the kitchen. This is going to make it super easy to paint once the caulk dries. So once everything's blue taped, caulk time. I'm using extreme stretch caulk by DAP. It says it could fill gaps up to 3 inches, but I do not know, and I really probably wouldn't recommend that. But one thing I do like about it is that it expands 600%. It's going to help out a lot, especially here in the cabinets when you're slamming doors. It's not going to crack as easy. Remember, it expands 600% once dry. One thing I did forget to mention is that when you're putting up your blue tape, make sure you leave a little 1/16 of an inch reveal from the end of the crown. That way when you pull your blue tape, it's not going to pull the caulking with it. And be careful not to do this. Look, it's going to leave lines, and then when it dries, it doesn't look good. I always recommend to have a wet rag when you're caulking, or you could use a sponge. A lot of people seem to like to use that. Me personally, I like those terry rags. But once you let the caulking dry, it's time to paint. And to make this process super easy, you could just caulk it without the blue tape, without painting. But there's a possibility you could get the caulk on the crown. And also, if you don't paint the caulking when you're done, it's going to turn yellow and it's going to be very noticeable. But if you're concerned about the paint not matching, then I would probably recommend to tape off the ceiling and the crown and use silicone, white silicone. Those usually don't yellow, but you can't really paint 100% silicone. And luckily the homeowner did have the paint, so it just makes things super easy. And now that everything was painted, I pulled all the blue tape, and don't worry, the paint did match. It's just a little wet right now. Look, it's drying in pretty good. Let me know in the comments if maybe you have a different way of addressing these types of issues. I'm always willing to learn, and I always appreciate all the feedback, good and bad. So let me know. And that's pretty much it. Look, there's no more gaps. The homeowner was super happy, and I gotta go eat dinner. So Jalapeno Solutions. Boom.